Hey folks, it's Jared Manninen from the website TahoeTrailGuide.com. Today I'm going to bring you a short video on how to properly hold your cross-country ski poles, as well as how to adjust their straps. One of the most important things about cross-country skiing is properly using your ski pole. A lot of people don't realize, and they're mostly beginners and intermediate skiers, but a lot of people don't realize that the way you hold your pole really can affect how much energy and power that you can put into your technique. A lot of people will just see the strap and then loop it like a hiking pole or an alpine ski pole, but it's actually a little bit different for cross-country skiing. And the reason being is because cross-country skiing is ultimately an endurance sport, and if there's any way that you can minimize the amount of energy that you're expending in order to still get a maximum power output, you try to find that. And with the poles, you have this strap here. Bottom line is that you want to bring your hand up underneath and then down over the top, and you want your thumb and your fingers on opposite side of the ski pole. That should be pretty obvious, but I've seen people do all kinds of weird stuff once they start putting it on. Now, another aspect of wearing your ski pole strap like that is that, so this forms one continuous loop on this particular model of ski poles. There's a locking mechanism that will prevent this strap from slipping, but if you want to adjust it, generally you're going to pop that locking mechanism out, or whatever type of locking mechanism you have, and then draw the strap tighter to make a smaller loop. The smaller loop, the tighter it is around your wrist and the tighter the connection you have to that ski pole. But sometimes if it's too tight or you're wearing gloves that are too thick, you're just not going to be able to get in and out very easy, so you can relax the grip a little bit. But when you're actually poling, when you're using the ski poles as they're meant to be, having your hand up underneath allows you to put a lot of pressure by drawing down on that strap without even holding the grip. A lot of people will tend to get a death grip on that handle, and again, that efficiency of an endurance athlete, they're going to look for an easier way or a more comfortable way to travel long distances, and having a death grip on your pole is not one of those ways. So having your hand in the strap such as this will allow you to actually keep an open hand, which also relaxes your forearm muscles quite a bit. And then when you're drawing down with the strap, you're actually using more of like your back muscles, your lat muscles. Another aspect of your hand being in the grip like this is if you end up sticking your ski pole tip into the snow, and the snow is like, if it's really grabby or sticky or hard, it freezes instantly and grabs it. As you're swinging your arm naturally forward, that pole will travel with you. Now, if you have your ski pole gripped from the top there, just coming in like that, and it sticks into the ground and you pull forward, there's a good chance you're going to ski right on down the track and leave your pole behind you. So again, up underneath and down over the top. And one quick note about this is one continuous loop, so it should come out so that these two straps lay flat on top of each other. But the reason that's like that is because there's a half twist in this strap here. If this was cut off and there were just two free ends like that and one pulled out, if you wanted to re-thread it back into this handle, you would want to incorporate a half twist so that these straps lay flat, because the web of your hand in between your thumb and your forefinger will ultimately begin to rub on that piece of fabric that is laying up. And if you're going for a short distance, it's not a big deal, but if it is a longer trip that you're doing and you're really trying to get a good rhythm, you want these straps to be laid down flat so that when you hold on to it, you don't feel the ridge of that piece of webbing or strap, whatever the material is that it's made from. In these examples, I'll show you a couple different styles of cross-country ski pole grip and straps. This is a Lecky brand handle here that has a continuous loop with a plug stitched into the loop. In that example, I showed that the strap was a little bit too long, so I tightened it. In this example, it's not actually twisted incorrectly just for training purposes. Let's assume that it was. So you would take some type of a little screwdriver and pull out the plug at the top of the handle. This plug does tend to come out on occasion, so definitely make sure every time before you go ski that it's still in the handle. And then from here, you would just manually twist that webbing around so that both ends coming out in that horizontal fashion of the handle are laying flat and won't irritate your hand as you're gripping the ski pole. This is a very typical, inexpensive type of a grip, and again, I have too much slack in there, so you pop that black cap on the top end and then draw the webbing upward. I tend to prefer to tape those free ends so that this is, again, a training situation, but that can pop right out. But if it's taped, it won't necessarily slide out nearly as easy. Again, though, you're going to need some type of a little pry tool, and in this case you do not want to do what I just did, and I actually just broke the little piece of plastic on that cap that keeps it from coming off completely. It doesn't matter that much because when you're actually placing pressure on the wrist strap, it draws the cap down, so it's not just gonna fall off on you. It's a bit of a challenge to take that cap off without something to wedge it up and around that circular locking mechanism. But you just re-thread it through and pop the cap back on there and you're good to go. There's two different ways that the webbing can come out of the handle. If it comes out in a vertical orientation, such as this, and such as that previous example, you could just put the webbing in, fold it in half, and there won't be any weird ridge. Now, if it comes out of the ski pole grip like the Lecky pole in that first example, it comes out in a horizontal fashion. That little ridge right there is going to eventually become annoying for your hand. So this is kind of where I talk about that half twist. Just fold it over one half. And again, this is if the orientation coming out of the handle was horizontal. Now it's flat and you're good to go. The next three ski pole handle grips are a little bit more high speed, low drag. This one has a little bit too much slack, and it's made by Swix. You just pull this locking mechanism out the top, and then you re-thread the webbing in there so that it draws the handle up tighter onto your hand, or onto the handle. And when you got in the right tension, you can just pop it back in there. Sometimes those ends will be free. They won't be a loop like that. Just make sure one's on top and one's on the bottom. This is a Solomon style of quick release grip. In this case, you just pull this top loop out, and there's a pin that keeps your hand connected to the ski pole grip. I like these types of grips because you can grab your camera or grab a snack or some water relatively easy without having to undo all the strapping. This Lecky brand quick release grip handle is one of my favorites just because of its convenience and ease of use. Okay folks, if you liked that video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I also encourage you to get outside and go skiing.